Welcome to Your Gen Z Coworker, the podcast where we break down the workplace and focus on what truly matters, building well-being into your career, prioritizing life over work, and staying true to yourself. Hosted by me, Emily, a fellow Gen Zer who's been there, done that, and still figuring it out. This is your space for real talk career advice, workplace trends, and actionable insights that put you first. From ditching outdated office norms to embracing the freedom to thrive authentically, I am here to guide and inspire you. So grab your coffee or snack of choice, hit subscribe, and navigate this work-life thing with me on Your Gen Z Coworker. Welcome back to episode number 2 of season 3. I am here with a special guest today.
Me,
You. I am here with Erica from Bear Fox Apparel, which you were on the podcast in season 1.
what can I say? I am a repeat hitter.
I think it was June of 2022, which is like
repeat now. Repeat.
So super excited to have you on and to chat and catch up. Not that we don't talk to each other. So it's been a while since we last chatted. What is new in the world with Bear Fox Apparel since 2022? Oh my goodness.
3 years ago. There's a lot of stuff that's going on. Well, we now manufacture our own leggings. We manufacture our own products. Not everything in the shop is manufactured. I think eventually that would be a goal, but it is just like being such a small business. I'm a solopreneur, so the cost affiliated with manufacturing is gargantuan, but we do our own leggings, which was a huge process. It took a long time, but super stoked on how they turned out. They're made from recycled material. They have deep pockets, high-waisted compression, and they're totally Canadian made. They're actually made out of London, so super local to us. We're now working on making our own sweaters, which again is just a huge process. I was hoping to have them in November for the Heart of Oxford, and we're still prototyping, and it's January. So that I would say that's probably one of the bigger changes that we've had in the shop since 2022. I do some content creation for some tourism boards, for Airbnbs. We hosted a retreat, have a podcast. It just feels like we've got a lot of stuff on the go.
Yeah. I feel like every solopreneur ever, I think we just feel the need to just cover all the bases.
Yeah. And I think there's also a little bit of alternate revenue streams when you are a solopreneur, because especially in this economy when it's just absolute trash, if one part of your business maybe isn't doing so hot, if you have something else to fall back on or something else that you can maybe rely on a little bit of income, that's just a smart way of doing business.
Yeah.
Plus, we need to keep our hands busy.
Just keep going. Just keep it going.
Yeah, we got to do some stuff.
I know. When you were last on in June of 2022, it was the Conquer Your Career podcast. So that was the original name that I started with. And I was kind of just talking to people about their journeys of their career thus far. And you have a book that you did as well.
Yeah, I do. Okay. Honestly, that was a bucket list thing for me to write a book.
Yeah.
I just never knew how I was going to finish it. And then when I started my own business, that was the final chapter.
Yeah.
So huge bucket list to check it off.
Yeah.
It's not a huge revenue stream, but I'm really proud that I was able to put pen to paper. And I think I've inspired a few people maybe along the way who have read it and just kind of read how, your path to get to where you need to be is not linear. It is very much squiggle. But yeah, so I am also an author, I guess.
Yeah. Just throw it in the mix. I love so it's called My Part-Time Life is the book. And I remember when I first started reading it, I was like, this is the piece that I always want to bring with my business and with this podcast, is that I think we don't talk enough about what people's career journeys look like. And so many people are just still in that mindset of success is climbing the corporate ladder or hitting those top pieces. But I just don't think it looks like that anymore, even from an entrepreneurship perspective.
I think for some people, climbing the corporate ladder is still their definition of success.
Yeah.
I just think that the world has changed in such a way where that isn't typical for most people. And a lot of people don't really consider entrepreneurship when they are in high school or even in post-secondary. it's just not something that's really talked about. And I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs either stumble into their business or they turn a hobby or a passion into a business. It's not necessarily like, I was born to have an apparel business. It's something that you kind of learn and develop over time.
Yeah. Yeah. And question for you in terms of, where we were 3 years ago and where we're at right now, has your perspective on entrepreneurship changed over the last few years?
I think yes, in some regards it has. 3 years ago, I was in my first 2 years, we were still in the pandemic. There was still such a shop local push that everything, even though we were dealing with so much crap in the world, there was so much support rallying behind small businesses. And there is still that support today, but now we're in this economic crisis, recession, downturn, just trash. Where I find, not just myself, but speaking with a lot of other entrepreneurs, it's harder to find those wins and those successes in this economy. So what your goal might have been 3 years ago, sales wise, or wholesale accounts or stores that you want to be in, I think everyone's starting to really scale that back. And that's a tough pill to swallow when if you make $1 million sales in your first year, and then by year 5, you have to be like, I'm okay with $50,000 sales, right? That is a hard pill to swallow. But the community in Oxford is incredible. And, there's so many different people that you can reach out to and chat to. So, you're not alone in it. And a lot of great brainstorming and just collaboration has happened. So that is still the same. But I just think the economy changed, which I think just you have to be able to shift and change with that as well.
Yeah. What would you say to someone who is thinking of starting a business, whether it's an apparel business or service-based business? Is there any life lessons you've learned that you...
I think every day is a school day. You can learn something new every day. Actively, I would say make sure you have a really good support system, whether that is a spouse or a parent or a friend or a business friend. Make sure that you have people that you can lean on, and you'll have different people you'll lean on for different aspects. But even though I say I'm a one-woman show, I feel like there's a huge team behind the Bear and Fox brand where you have a really crappy quarter. I've got people that I can talk to about how can I make that better? What could I improve on? Did this work for you? And on the other side of that coin, I've got girlfriends that I can pop champagne with and be like, look what we did. This is incredible. And really celebrate those milestones. So even though you're doing it alone, you're actually doing it with a huge community.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. I like that. So in season 1, we talked about how you prioritize life outside of being a business owner, which is something that I really push for when I speak at conferences and when I work with my clients one-on-one, is making sure that you're prioritizing life outside of work. How do you maintain that today? How?
I would say I run a very fine line of what I do for myself versus what I'm doing for the brand. Because I live an outdoor lifestyle and that's what Bear and Fox represents. I find that line can get very blurred. I'm going for a hike. I obviously have my phone on me. I'm going to take a couple pictures or videos that maybe becomes content down the road. I do try to actively shut off, specifically when I'm spending time with my family. So we're going on a fly-in fishing trip in August, which I'm so pumped about, which obviously is loaning itself very well to content and sharing that. And I probably will share it up as a reel, but because we're going to such a remote location in Northern Ontario, there is no reception. So it forces you to shut down, right? And I am that type of person. I tend to put myself in those situations where it's you literally cannot access anything. So you're forced to shut down. Some of those photos become photos just for your memory bank. They're not content. So I would say I'm doing an okay job of the balance, but I love creating and I'm a very creative person. So when I'm put in a situation where I think it could be useful, I have a really hard time shutting up. So I could probably work better on that. but
Yeah.
it's also stuff that sparks joy for me.
Yeah.
It's not work for me to be
No.
like, okay, we're going to build an igloo and sleep in it.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
we're going to do that anyways. So why not take the pictures and videos?
Exactly. Yeah. I personally have found a lot of joy in finding myself in situations where I have no service.
Yes.
So, and like, I always kind of like knew it, but the beginning of January, my boyfriend and I, or fiance now, we booked a cabin up in like Halliburton area.
Yeah.
And it was like a 5-kilometer snowmobile ride to get out there. Like, you can bring your vehicle, you had to like pack light, and we were in this like off-grid cabin, and we get there and then he drops us off and we close the door and we were like it was just like this big sigh of relief to just like let go of everything. And it was right after the holidays too, which was like, it's always a busy time of year and everything. And it was just like time to just like let go. And I think so often we get so caught up in the go, 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 especially as entrepreneurs. There's things going all the time.
Right. You leave your 9 to 5 to work 24/7. It is so true. Honestly, I love that though. And like, it sounds ridiculous to be like, I had to go to an off-grid cabin to like be off-grid, but I think physically removing yourself from where you work. And as entrepreneurs, a lot of the time working is our home.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I do a lot of my work on the couch while my kids are building Lego or watching X-Men. And I'm like, putting stuff together, editing a podcast, or I'm creating, the next carousel for a client. Like, I'm working in my house on my couch. I don't have an office. I don't have a commute, right? So I think actually physically removing yourself from that situation helps shut off so much.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it totally does. Have you found any, I want to ask this question. Have you found any new ways that you found to recharge and stay connected to kind of what fuels you?
So last year I was on like a fitness journey. Sounds like I wanted to lose weight, whatever. It was just more of like, I needed to move my body because my job is very sedentary when you're not actually creating the content, when you're sitting on your phone, putting it together. So I bought an Echelon bike and I was loving it.
Yeah.
Even though like I wasn't leaving my house, it was just that like 20 to 90 minute walk during the day where I'm like focused on myself, just moving my body, done. So then I started playing volleyball again. I was playing pickleball until I tore my Achilles. So for me, I was like finding joy in sport again. Obviously that has taken a little bit of a backseat while we wait for surgery. But like, I think finding something outside of what my brand necessarily leans into, right? Like, I love the ice fishing. I love skidooing. I love archery. I love hunting, all of the outdoor stuff. So I think finding sport that wasn't necessarily like outdoors related was just like a really nice outlet for me to just like burn off some steam,
get it out
and move on.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. I like that. And I think that's important to say that like not everything has to be related to your business. Like, not everything has to be related to what you do. And I just watched a reel, obviously. What else do I do? Before I came here. And it was talking about how so often we put so much emphasis on our career that we're really just like balancing on this like really, really like thin bar of like, this is the only thing that we're focusing on. Meanwhile, there's so many other things going on around us that we're not paying attention to or we're not doing. And so we constantly feel uneasy.
Well, and you can't pigeonhole yourself, right? Like, there's so many things that make you, right? You don't want to sit around and talk about HR all day, right? So you get into the triathlons.
Yeah.
I don't want to necessarily constantly be considering, am I hunting for myself or is this content? Am I fishing? Like what am I doing?
Yeah.
So then you find something else that helps make you who you are. You're allowed to be this multi-dimensional being and you're allowed to try new things. Right now I'm like getting right back into crocheting. Like, I am leaning into being 88 years old. And that again is like totally unrelated to the business, to the brand, to anything. Like, that is just for me. That's a 20-minute activity that I can do every day for myself. So I think, if people can find those things to help round themselves out, who wants to hang out with someone who's just like the same all the time?
Nope.
Gotta keep us on our toes.
On our toes. How have your motivations or goals for Bear and Fox Apparel evolved since you started? We kind of touched on this a little bit, but like, do you have goals for 2025?
I do. We were just talking about, we recorded our first podcast last night, coming back, season 4.
Can't wait.
And so we were kind of talking about this last night where I sat down to set my goals for 2025 and I had to actually scale them back from what I had initially wanted to do 5 years ago. Again, just you have to be aware of the economy. You have to be aware of like what works for your lifestyle, your family, what is realistic, because 5 years ago, you have no clue what's going to happen or what is realistic, right? Is it $1 million company or is it like more of a side hustle that allows you the flexibility with your family? So I think now in my 5th year, I'm starting to get a better picture of like where the brand is landing, what's realistic, what's not. So I did set some goals. I moved the goalposts a little closer than I maybe have in the past, but I think having attainable goals is important. Because if you are never reaching those goals, you're going to lose your inspiration. You're not going to be excited about your business anymore. It's going to become a huge chore. And people pick up on that energy. Right? So if selling 5 shirts this year is my goal and I sell 5 shirts in a week, you're going to be like,
done.
Boom. Let's go.
Did it.
You know, so I have set some goals. They're not as lofty as they maybe were 5 years ago, but I'm really excited to hit them and then to be able to build up from there again.
Yeah, I think, and they always say like the first like 5 years of running a business is like
running into hell. Yeah. Again, like we talked about this last night too, where, you know, it's like what, 3 to 5 years before you turn a profit. It's something like 89% of small businesses fail in the first 5 years. So I feel like making it to year 5 is a huge accomplishment. When you first start, especially in like a smaller community, there's a lot of pressure and a lot of eyes and like a lot of accolades that can come in that, like breakout new business, you know, best food industry. Like there's a lot of local awards that can get, you know, kind of, I don't want to say pushed, but like, there's a lot of spotlight. And, you know, when you're in year 5, that spotlight's not necessarily there anymore and you're still grinding. So I think it's just trying to keep that passion alive within yourself, even when maybe all of like the flashy lights and attention and accolades have turned towards the next thing.
No, I think that's so true. And I'm heading into year 4 of business come March. And I've found with my business that, you know, starting in a local community was a great start. But now I've seen the majority of my clients and conferences and whatever I'm speaking at are outside of my small community. And it came from, you know, word of mouth. It came from social media. It came from referrals. But no matter where you are now, you always remember where you started.
Absolutely. I keep saying, you know, I'm doing all of these big trade shows like Hamilton, Mississauga. They're nowhere near Oxford. And I keep saying like, I want to break out of Oxford, not in a negative way, because Oxford will always be home and Oxford was always there for me 5 years ago. I think it's just growing the business is you need to constantly, especially in a product like a shirt, people can buy a shirt, love it, but ideally they aren't coming back because that shirt is going to last them years. They might not come back ever, yet still love their product. You know what I mean? So it's just always searching for the next customer. And I think sometimes you just have to break outside of home.
Okay. So you've experienced the roller coaster of entrepreneurship, right? We're in your life, baby. You're just like rolling with it. What is one lesson that you've learned recently that you want others to know?
I can't even believe I'm saying it because this is like so not me. This has been a lesson that I've had to learn so many times in my life. Be patient. Take your time. Okay. So the leggings was a process. These sweaters are a process. And I'm very much the type of person that like, I know right away if I like something or not. There's not a lot of gray area with me. And so because I'm relying on a manufacturer, and they have other clients, even though I get a prototype and I'm like, yep, this, boom, you can make the next one now. There's a lot of waiting and a lot of sourcing. And so because I want the products in my shop to be top notch, I want people to have a great experience when they shop with Bear and Fox. I want people to like every other business owner, I don't want any negativity in my business.
Yeah.
I want it to just be a great experience for everyone all around. And because I can be very impatient and irrational, I've really had to lean into the patient side of things and just like make sure I'm, how they say, crossing your I's, dotting your T's.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Future vision. Any exciting plans you can share? Anything that you're really working towards? Or if you have like one of those big lofty goals, what do you want to do?
I feel like 2025, I'm in this kind of like weird state because like I'm waiting for surgery, right? So that surgery is going to take me out of commission for a few months. So I've got content trips that are booked and I want to fill my year. I want to know exactly where we're going when.
Yeah.
And I'm hesitant to do that. So I feel very hesitant on my goal setting. Perfect world scenario. I have manufactured sweaters. I'm already talking about manufacturing some other products to be launched for next winter because I know it takes a little bit. We're working on like some biodegradable products again for next winter, doing a little R&D on that. I'd love to partner with some more tourism boards for content and just like really get to experience what Ontario has to offer.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah. Some more adventures. I want more adventures in 2025.
I love it. Okay. So last episode on Your Gen Z Coworker was all about defining success. So it was just a solo episode. So I was on there talking about everything that success used to look like versus what maybe millennials and Gen Z are looking at as success now. So talking about things like mental well-being and maybe success, not necessarily in terms of money, but in terms of how we live our lives. So how do you define success for yourself? Do you have a definition? And has it changed since we last spoke?
I think it has changed. I think I started traditionally with the definition of success being a Scrooge McDuck diving into a vault full of coins. I think that is the traditional view of success as a business owner.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
Put the business hat on.
Yeah.
Success is money. Now I feel, and my husband and I have chatted about this a lot, that Bear Fox has opened up so many doors in terms of experiences.
Yeah.
We went dog sledding. I slept with the wolves. We get to see all these incredible Airbnbs across Ontario. We did a fly-in fishing trip.
Yeah.
We get to experience so many things that without Bear Fox, like that door would have never been open.
Yeah.
That's how I measure success is, you know, what did I get to do because of the business? And sometimes that falls into, I got to go to my kids' school and watch them do their little performance at Christmas.
Yeah.
I got to take them to their appointments without having to worry about booking time off. So for me, it's time spent with my family and memories being made.
Yeah. No, I love it. That's perfect. I think, and I was talking on the podcast last week and you know, figuring out like what my definition of success was. And I'm like, it's having flexibility. In if it's a nice day, I would like to spend the day outside, right? Or if I, you know, when I made my business and started my business, I was thinking of future Emily, right? Future Emily would want to be able to spend time with her kids. You know, future Emily would like to, you know, take a week off in the summer and be able to like do things and explore and go on adventures. And that's always been a priority. Like I grew up camping and adventuring. So that was always what success kind of looked like to me. And obviously like money will always play a factor in all of these decisions.
Of course, because you can have the flexibility, but if you don't have the money, then you're not affording the camping trip. Sure, they go hand in hand.
Yeah.
But I think that there's a lot of ways to go on a camping trip on a dime, right? Or to experience things on a flexible schedule.
Yeah.
You know, that if you're stuck in a traditional 9 to 5 and you only have X amount of vacation days or sick days or what have you.
Yeah.
I mean, we do pay off for it because we can, oh yeah, I'm going to go for lunch with Emily today, but I'm working today.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think that flex schedule works for a lot of people.
Yeah, for sure. Before we wrap things up, I always like to do a series of rapid fire questions. They've been refreshed for the season 3 season. And are you ready? You have
Bring it on.
less than 5 seconds to answer each question.
Okay.
But I can't count and talk at the same time. So we're just going to guess what 5 seconds is. Are you ready?
Yep.
My hands are sweating for you. Okay. Dream job as a child.
I wanted to work at Ducks Unlimited and study frogs.
Okay. One food you could eat every day.
Eggs.
Yep. Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Most used emoji?
The melting face emoji.
Go-to karaoke song?
I just sit in the corner and watch people.
First celebrity crush?
Kid Rock.
Okay. One thing you can't live without?
Probably my phone. That's a terrible answer.
Favorite childhood memory?
We used to go to archery tournaments every weekend as a family, and we had other families that did the same thing. So just
I love that. Okay. Favorite holiday or time of year?
Halloween,
Okay.
fall,
Okay. Yep. Morning person or night owl?
morning,
Sweet or savory?
savory.
Biggest work pet peeve?
Oh my God, I hate when people. I hate when you're on your lunch with people and the person next to you is chewing with their mouth open and it's a loud chewing. I can't.
Biggest fear?
Monkeys. Also driving while you're picking your nose and you get in a car accident and your finger gets lodged in your brain and that's how people find you. Also, like forgetting your life.
Oh,
Like Alzheimer's, memory loss. Like that really stresses me out.
I can't. I'm stressed out. What was I saying? Best career advice you've ever received?
Just do it.
Okay. Do you believe in aliens?
Yes.
What's one thing on your bucket list?
I really want to swim with great white sharks.
I fully support you in that.
I was really trying to get us to do that for our honeymoon, but my husband hates water.
Okay. Sums up the rapid fire question. You did great. That was good.
Hey, I told you there's not a lot of gray area with me.
I have a new fear though now. Thank you. My fear was always I have a fear of dying. That's just like my
constant fear.
Yeah, constant fear. But now you talked about losing. Okay, it's not
monkeys eat faces. They're literally people with fangs and claws, and they like rip your arms off and smash rocks. They're terrifying. God,
I used to work at African Lion Safari.
Oh God, what? Hate it.
I didn't work with the monkeys though. I was in corporate sales, but
hate it. What?
Okay. Well, to end this on a more positive note, where can listeners go to learn more about you and your business?
You can find me, bearandfoxapparel.ca across the board, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and that's the website too. And I'm a one-woman show, so I'm the only one behind those accounts.
Love it. Love it. Thank you so much for coming on your Gen Z coworker.
Thank you for having me. You'll have to come on Drinks With.
We'll have to. Podcast swap. Okay. Thank you. Peace.